Welcome to another episode here on interviews.lk. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know the next time that we upload a new interview. And in today's interview, in fact, we have a very special guest. And to give you some context, you would have heard, of course, the Forbes list. Now, they have many lists, and in fact, one of the prestigious lists is the 50 over 50. And on that list, we had featured Mrs. Sandra Wanduragala, who is the founder of the bespoke handicraft brand Selyn, and she's joining us here today. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us here on interviews.lk. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
And ma'am, to start off with, you started the Selyn with just 50 women working from home, and it's expanded over its years to 1,000 plus members. So what inspired you at the very beginning to start your company?
Actually, it was 15. And from my childhood, I really wanted to do something meaningful and something challenging. By profession, I am a lawyer. And I was not quite happy just doing my legal practice, getting the money all to myself. But coming from a background of mixed parentage and with certain amount of financial hardships. We were 6 at home, and my mom is a burger. My father is a Sinhalese, and we had quite a hard life. And I saw my mom struggling through life, trying to bring up 6 children with less support from my father. But somehow I thought that I should do something to empower women, and this was in my head. And at one point it was whether I should go into politics or whether I should do something else. But I'm so glad I made this decision, because the opportunity to start a business came my way through, of course, my husband. And I started the business, Selyn, and I named it after my daughter, Selyna, and it happened to be handlooms. And at that time, handloom industry was really going down, because with the open economy and a lot of products coming from India. But we made a difference in the products. And somehow we have made it up to 31 years now.
31 years with 1,000 plus
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I wanted to ask you next. The fact that you got into handlooms. Now, Selyn is more than just a handicraft brand, because you are involved in the handloom process to the final product itself. So could you share a bit of insights as to how, as a business, you manage this entire supply chain, because that itself is a lot of work in itself?
At the start, we import the yarn from India, but at the start we had to outsource for the dyeing process. But later on, when we were aiming at becoming fair trade members, environment issues were a concern, because we had to take the clearance from the Environment Authority. So then we invested in a dye plant and recycling the water. And we have a very good effluent treatment plant. And this is then dyeing. Then it goes to the weaving centers. And after the fabric is woven, the fabric comes into the production of finished goods, right? So the entire process is under our control, and that was actually a plus point, because we could control whatever colors, whatever designs that the customer needed. And we have a very transparent system of showing our customers what we do.
Lovely. And just as you mentioned that, the fact that Selyn is Sri Lanka's only guaranteed fair trade producer of handlooms, could you just tell us and the viewers as well, what does that mean, being a fair trade producer?
Fair trade, to become a fair trade member, there are 10 principles which we should abide by, and there are periodical audits which are quite expensive. One is empowering women and the underprivileged. Number two is the environment concerns, then child labor, no child labor, and so on and so forth. The list goes up to 10, and we have to have reports with proof that the auditors, external auditors, will come and audit. But I think, for me personally, I had this dream of doing something for the society, right? Money was never issue in my head because I was already a lawyer. I had a very good practice, and I have invested the money from my legal practice into building Selyn at the start. So the fair trade principles gave me a path, right? Gave me a path to travel and to make it a really good business. While doing business, to do good also, right? So it was like checks where I should go and where I should not go, right? So these have been the guiding principles throughout the years. It's a way of doing business, actually.
And when you also mentioned empowering women, something else which I believe was a CBI video, is the fact that Selyn has also gone beyond to help women who are coming into the factory, who are further away. You've invested in helping them with bicycles, and also a daycare, if I'm not mistaken, a nursery area as well. So your empowerment goes beyond just the incomes, but also looking into the overall social well-being of those that working with you.
The model of Selyn is that we do have internal workshops, and we do also have workshops which are located in villages, and also the finishing area is mainly done in one workshop, and we have a network of women working in their homes, because what we saw is that women find it very difficult to come to work, 8 to 5 factory work, and that they are more comfortable in working at their homes. So as a result, the women, they have their own network around their home, where they get into groups and do the needlework. So I think it's a very interesting way of working. And sometimes we have women, they drop their child into school and they work the half day in the factory, and then the balance work is done at home.
Okay.
So this is how I have done the model, because understanding how difficult it's for a woman to engage in making money and empowering her own self by going for a regular job. And most importantly, I am a very firm believer that if a woman is economically empowered, she has strength, right? I stand tall because I am really independent. I have had my ups and downs in my life, but each time when I fall, my independence has helped me. So I firmly believe, I saw how my mother used to struggle, right? But she had no money because she was not working. And till the end of her life, she had to depend on us, the children. So I don't want to get into that situation, nor do I want any other woman to get into that situation, because it's so hard for women in our country.
Yeah, that's very true. And being recognized, in fact, as the only Sri Lankan entrepreneur on the Forbes list of 50 over 50, when that was brought to your attention, how did that make you feel?
I thought it was some kind of joke or something.
Who gave you the news?
My daughter told me, she called me, she lives next door, but she called me and said, Amma, you have made it really big. and some friend from USA had sent her the message saying that the mother is in the 50-50 list, and I blasted her. Because I thought she had made I had no clue about how they give this listing. I thought they have made some application and they have asked for it.
Right.
She said, "Are you crazy? They are not going to put you just because we asked you. And you're the first woman from Sri Lanka." I said, "Okay." But personally for me, at this age, it's really nothing so exciting. But for my business, and for the people who have helped me to get all this glory, I'm so thankful and I'm happy.
Well, and it goes to show that in business that you can actually be humble, as many try or would probably be gloating on it instead. So what's the future for Selyn? We understand that that blockchain is also something that you're using in the overall process to create that transparency. So where can we see Selyn as you are also in many other countries? Will be moving into new markets? Anything that you can share with us?
Actually the blockchain was the brainchild of my daughter Selyna. What we thought and we still think is that the whole world is going towards a recession, and we have to be special and different. And now we are laying the foundation to go towards that. The blockchain is that the supply chain is transparent and it will be on the product and it can be monitored. Okay. So it will mean something, giving a face to the product, giving feelings to a product, that the buyer will know exactly where the product is made, how it comes, and what the benefit of the product, of the money he pays, is to the person who made it.
Yeah.
Right? So we are working hard on trying to become different and trying to sell our products to the really upmarket. It's very challenging because we don't have the necessary machines, equipment, we don't have the designers, but anyway, we are determined that it will be a different journey and it will make a difference for the craft sector in Sri Lanka, and also it will make a big difference for the women who are working around it.
Right, and we do hope that, you know, especially with the economic climate, and as you mentioned that with the recession, that this does give Selyn that edge, and also the fact that as a consumer of your product, being able to in fact know the journey of that product itself, it has gone through before it even came to their hands, that itself is an experience which not many have thought of that sort of idea. And with that, so just mentioning the fact that we are right now in our own economic crisis, and what would you impart with other businessmen or businesswomen during this struggle time? Any advice that you would like to give them?
What I firmly believe is, like the Chinese, crisis, there's opportunity. So we have to keep our eyes open for the opportunities. And I firmly feel that there will be money in when you address social problems. Like if I give you an example, this Bleed Good project which we are doing, right, addressing the period poverty, right, it gives money, but we are putting the money back into the project. It might be different for me because I am not motivated by money. Yeah. You know, I don't want to be filthy rich, you know, and it's not that. What I think is, and what I have taught my two children is to do good, yeah, and that is the only thing you will take back. So to the others, what I say is, have a vision, follow the vision, be passionate about it. Don't bother of what other people think of you or what other people say about you, or whether you are appreciated or not. You don't need appreciations, but there will be somewhere someone watching you, right? and the ultimate goal will be you will be given the due recognition. And I think that's what happened to me. I didn't go after it.
That's actually some very insightful words. Thank you so much, Mrs. Wanduragala, for having joined us here on this. And also a quick side note, she's also not one who's too fond of being in front of the camera, but she was so kind enough to join us here today on interviews.lk. So make sure that you also subscribe so that you know the next time that we have another video up. And until then, take care.